let's try these graphic display options. We have the hidden line by default, so the way to work, you know that we have shaded, and we have consistent colors, and we have realistic colors. Okay. So let's try, because if we go to graphic display options, in shadows, if we cast and show ambient shadows, we can do this. And we're casting shadows here. Look at the effect of the ambient shadows. Okay, so it gives like more, yeah, it adds some shades of. So usually we use both and it looks more realistic. And as you can see here, we have the glass, and with the glass, we have difference in the transparency of the white background and this one. Okay. So I think I would use these two. And okay, but let's explore more graphic display options. Here we can show edges. If we don't show edges, yeah, this is more realistic. If we show the edges, I'm showing the black lines of the contour of the shapes. I don't know. It depends on what we want. In lighting, we can increase the ambient light, so it will be clearer, or it will increase the sunlight. Okay, so we can make it clearer or darker, and this is the shadows. They are darker again or clearer. So again, depends on what we want. Okay, in this building, this model, we have a lot of glass, and there is no difference. And the sun settings, we have the same sun settings that we have in here in steel. And if we change that, if we change the time, this is, well, if I want to take good pictures, I always use the winter light because it's better. What if we change this to July, or June or July in summer? If we apply, we lose a lot of lights here. We can change the timing, but doesn't look well. Okay, what we want is that some of the light is entering the building, so we can see light here in this interior wall. So to do this, it's good that the sun it's very low, and that happens in winter. So if you want to take a good screenshot, I recommend you use the winter solstice, and then we will see. Okay, so this is too much, it's too late. Okay, that looks better. Okay. So this is the time that I have selected. It's the sun settings. We can change the sun settings here. We can use artificial lights, but we're not to do that yet. So basically we have the style. We can either show or not show. I think in this case, not showing edges looks better. And then we can work with these two kind of shadows. So it's very basic. There are not a lot of options, but I think we can get by with this. So again, I can take a screenshot, or I can print a PDF file. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to print. It can be either Adobe PDF or Microsoft Print to PDF. And we click OK. and we print this 3D view too. Okay, so I've printed this as a PDF, but before moving to Photoshop, I'm going to do something different, and I'm going to print without changing the view. That's important. I'm going to change the graphic display options, and I'm going to use the wireframe, not the wireframe, the hidden line with shadows. Okay, and I'm going to print as a PDF again. I click OK, and I'm going to print 3D view 3. It's very important that you don't change the view, and then I will explain later what I'm going to do. And then as a graphic display options, I'm going to use hidden line, but without shadows, or only cast shadows without the ambient shadows. Okay, yes, let's do this and then print it again. And this is 3D view 4. If I open the PDF file, the Adobe Acrobat, you see that I have PDF 2, 3, and 4. And it's important that they all have the same size, the same camera, the same view, because now I'm going to insert this into Photoshop as different layers. And I can try to do different things with each drawing, and just to explore different things. Okay, so let's open the first one with Photoshop. Open with Photoshop. And now the good thing here is that we can select the resolution. Okay, so the width is 11 by 8.5. Okay, and here we have the resolution, which is very high, 300 pixels per inch. That's quite good actually, because the quality of the image will be much better. So I'm going to open this. Okay, and I'm going to do the same with all of them. I select this one, open with Photoshop. The same size, the same resolution, that's very important. And finally, this one with Photoshop, same size, same resolution. There you go. So now I have 3 Photoshop files that are the same in terms of size. So what I'm going to do is to copy and paste all of them into the same file. Okay, I don't want text. So I'm going to select everything. I can do this and make sure that I select all the drawing, Control C, come to this one, and Control V. And now I have 2 different layers. And then I'm going to do the same with this one, select everything, Control C, Control V. And now I can close these 2. And I just have this. Okay, so why am I doing now? Once I have 3 layers, the same size, I can crop the view. But do not crop the view until you have copied and pasted all of them. And now we can decide what the best size is. I always tell you that the sky, it's better than the ground, but maybe it's too big. Okay, something like this. Okay, so I have cropped this and I still have 3 views. And why would I do this? Well, because just changing the opacity, things can happen. Okay, so I'm changing the opacity of the first two layers. And well, if I find this color to be very bright, if I have one of them, so I can have different, just by changing the opacity. And here even, remember that I have deleted these lines, the sketch lines from the realistic option. But if I have something very, okay, so I can have the feeling that they are control line there, that there are lines here, but well, things are different. Okay, so you see that we have this and we have this. I like this better because it looks like less, this is too dark probably, but this looks much better. And if you want to make it clear, you can activate both. I don't think it's necessary, one is enough. Okay. So, but just in case, I have this layer here. So what happens if I work with this layer? So what's better, this one or this one? Well, it depends. But at least here we have this. And now I want to start dealing with the sky. So, but it's better than the other video because here we have the shade review, and that adds value to the drawing. With the other one, when I imported just the hidden lines without shadows, this looks more realistic. So I'm going to do something with the sky here, but I don't want to insert another cloudy sky, blue with the white clouds and all that stuff. So I'm going to try something different, and I'm going to try to think out of the box. Okay, so I have selected again with the magic wand. I have selected all the sky. I have created a new layer. Okay, so I'm going to create a new layer here, and I'm going to try some colors that they are not realistic. So I'm not inserting a realistic sky here. So I'm doing something like this. Okay, so it looks completely different than other things that we have done. Okay, and I can insert this. It doesn't look that good. And what if I just use this one? Okay, so as you can see, you can try different things, highlighting or hiding or activating, and working with the different opacity of the layers. Okay, do we like it? Well, we can always use this, and we can use with image adjustment, brightness, contrast, and we can work with the brightness of the sky. Okay, but I think it doesn't look that transparent here. Well, it's transparent, but it's too transparent. So probably I have to select all these elements that are hidden here, are behind the glass, because the glass line is this one. So this, all this is behind the glass. And with this, I can use image adjustment, brightness, contrast. And if I make it clearer, that would be good. Or if I use with the same red, but I use the gradient tool, foreground to transparent. Okay, so here we have, yeah, we can have the effect of the glass here because it shouldn't be the same, exactly the same color of the background. Okay, so we have this, and it's not bad. But what if working with this, if I select everything, okay, I want to select just the transparent background, and then I can select inverse. What if we try to do something, some gradient for the background? So I'm going to do this. I select foreground to transparent, and I make it darker. Then I activate these two lines again. Okay, that always works. But what if I want to do something even more dramatic? So I'm going to use the black. Okay, so now it looks completely different. Okay, and we can use this layer if we go to image adjustments, brightness and contrast. If we make this darker with more contrast. Okay, so we have a completely different element that we used before. I think I've gone too far with this. I like this. Okay, but if you're going to use this option, then this is like a template. You have to make sure that all your images are going to have to do with this red color, because this red color is so powerful that you need to do something with it. What if instead of red, we want to change it? We can go to image, adjustments, and we can go to color balance. So with the color balance, we can turn what is red, we can turn it into something different. Okay, so that looks, I like this idea. Okay, so with this, I'm going to save it. I'm going to save as a JPEG, and then I will try something different. I'm going to hide this, and now I'm going to, well, when I'm doing something that I'm not sure if it will be right or wrong, let's create another layer. So copy this layer, and I'm going to use this. So I'm going to go to adjustments, and I'm going to work with the brightness and contrast of this element. Okay. And now I'm going to work with the saturation, and I'm going to make it almost grayish, and I'm going to do this. Okay. So as you can see, this Farnsworth house, it's completely different than the original one. So we can create like a realistic green grass with blue sky background, or we can do something different. And of course, what kind of trees can we use? for this kind of picture. They have to be black and white, so I'm going to use this one. Or one of those. I don't know, I think this is more. Copy. Something went wrong. Probably. Okay, I managed to download this and put it as first layer. And now I have to remove the background. The resolution is not great. Okay, at least I found something that can work, but now I have to get rid of the white stuff, or even better, if I select all this, but increasing the tolerance, let's make it 50. And then select inverse and delete. Okay, so if we have this whitish border, it's because of the tolerance. Okay, so if we select image, adjustment, brightness, contrast, and we make it dark and increase the contrast, little by little we are getting rid of this white background. And if we use the saturation and lightness, okay, so now everything is perfect. Black. And then I move it and place it here. And if we want to place this behind that, probably we need to select this and delete this part. Okay, but the kind of elements that you select or you insert, they depend on the image that you want to create. This is a, I know, a twilight picture for this, and these trees go well here.